Good old Cartoon Network. Back in the day, this was the best channel for cartoon. Teen Titans, Chowder, Regular Show, Adventure Time, Gumball, too many bangers to count. But one day I was just thinking to myself, you know, a lot of these characters, they're kinda strong. Like, unnaturally strong. I wonder how powerful they'd be if they were in the real world. And then it dawned on me. I've seen plenty of people making power scaling videos on Smash Bros. Characters, figuring out which character is canonically the strongest. So why don't I do the same for Cartoon Network? That sounds fun. Just to set some ground rules, I'm only gonna look at the main characters from each show. But if the show has multiple leads like Ed, Edd, and Eddy, then I'll include all three. But with that out of the way, let's get cracking. First off is Dexter. Now right away we have a Stewie Griffin situation. While he may be very young, he has plenty of adventures that are capable of destroying massive amounts of property. I mean, he made a Gundam for crying out loud. I would not be shocked if he knew how to make an atom bomb. I'm going to put him in low continent crusher because even though he has many great inventions, by himself he would get mollywopped by anyone on this list. Johnny Bravo is up next, and while he might have a great physique and knows karate, he himself has not been shown to do that much damage in a fight. He can at the very least defeat a crocodile. However, what sets Johnny apart is his ability to take hits. This man gets eviscerated by women every single day of his life, yet he's still standing. These women do not hold back. One of these women used a satellite laser to come down and erase this man from existence.
Oh, I had this set on kill.
I like to refer to Johnny as the tank of the group. While he might not be putting up the same DPS numbers as his fellow compatriots, he's still a vital role in the team. He's a master at taking aggro, especially from women, and can survive pretty much anything you throw at him. For this, I'm saying he's at least superhuman. The moral of the story is don't disrespect tanks, kids. And the Powerpuff Girls are all menaces. Super speed, super flight, heat vision, cold breath, etc. These girls are unstoppable. Just look at how much Buttercup is lifting up right now. These girls are easy continental crushers. The day these girls turn evil is the day we are all doomed. Going over the Ed boys individually, Ed himself is definitely some sort of superhuman. He has been shown several times that he has some sort of supernatural strength going on. So Ed obviously goes to superhuman. But as for the other two, they're just kind of normal guys. Eddie's just a hustler, and Double D's just kind of a string bean. They don't got much going for them. I wouldn't call them weak AF because they could use some cunning tactics to win the battle, but at the same time there's not much else going for them. Courage the Cowardly Dog, however, is surprisingly godlike. This is a user of the Toon Force. A powers only the most wacky and zany users can wield. With it, they can perform unimaginable feats such as shattering the moon just by screaming, or being reduced to dust, yet being fine a moment later. While Courage might be kind of a scaredy cat, he is by no means a weak dog. I mean, I don't know if any of you guys saw that death battle, but he was a lot stronger than I thought he would be. For being able to shatter a sun, I think that deserves at least planet level. And you know what, while I'm at it, let's just put Scooby right next to him. He has an extremely similar moveset, and honestly is just as unkillable as Courage. I don't know why the Cartoon Network dogs are so OP, but that's just the way it is. It should be no secret that Samurai Jack is a pretty well-seasoned warrior. Ever since he was a little baby, he's been training with the best warriors in the entire world. And through the show, he has shown his skills off many times. He was also able to lift this giant boulder for long periods of time and learn the ancient art of jump good. So I think he barely just makes it onto the superhuman list. As far as number one from the KND is concerned, while he does have multiple gadgets at his disposal that could help him in a fight, end of the day, he's still just a kid. He is quite skilled in combat, however, I'll give him that. So at the very least say he does have combat experience. And that's not even mentioning his leadership and strategy skills. I'll tell you right now, Billy is not making it that high on the list. He might have some Toon Force abilities, however, his intellect stat will always let him down. And if it's not that weighing him down, it's his giant nose. Mandy, however, is on some demon type B. It was always apparent that she could defeat anyone she just looks at. But she also rewrote the entire universe just by smiling. And while Grim might look cool at first glance, he's just kind of a normal dude. Take away the scythe and he's got nothing. I'll give it the benefit of doubt and say he might have some experience using it, so I'll say low fighter experience. Next is Mac from Foster's Home of Imaginary Friends, who is just an 8-year-old who plays pretend with his imaginary friends. What a loser. Weak AF. And as far as I'm aware, the Puffyama Yubi performers are just normal people with no kind of supernatural abilities or anything. I think the most powerful thing they did was sing the Teen Titans theme song. Other than that, no notable feats. Normal people. Speaking of Teen Titans, however, now we got Robin, who is an interesting case. I'm not going to be talking about Teen Titans Go Robin, as they were shown to be completely separate people in a special. With that said though, OG Robin is one of the most experienced fighters on this list. Not only was he trained by the Batman, but he has also gone toe-to-toe with not only the other team members of the Teen Titans, but also Slade, aka Deathstroke. Not to mention the various tools and equipment he has in his arsenal. This guy easily tops the fighting experience list for now. From all my research on Camp Lazlo, there's nothing too noteworthy really about him. He just seems like a normal monkey. While he is still a child, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt and say he has some monkey strength, so I'll just put him in normal guy. And while I'm on the subject, I might as well place the My Gym Partners of Monkey characters here and here. I think this monkey is shown to be a tiny bit more athletic, but it's not making much of a difference. The other one is a normal kid, so not much going on there. On to Ben 10, who is without a doubt one of the most powerful characters in this list. The thing that sets Ben apart is versatility. He can transform into thousands of different aliens to fit whatever situation he's in, and most of them are pretty powerful, such as Way Big. And then we can't forget about Alien X, who casually just rewrite the entire universe, so you know, easy universal level. While Chowder is mostly portrayed as just a weak little raccoon dog thing, he has shown examples of utilizing the Toon Force to his advantage, especially when it comes to eating. In most situations, I think he would just be on a normal guy level. However, if food is involved, he can quickly turn into a superhuman, so I'm just gonna put him on low superhuman tier. Chris from Total Drama is a sadistic psychopath who enjoys torturing teenagers. However, he himself is not that powerful, it's more so his status and money. I mean, he's in pretty good shape for what he does, but you know, he would most likely fail every challenge he makes for the contestants of the show himself, so he ain't scoring too much marks. Chef, however, is a seasoned war veteran who has seen his fair share of battles. On top of that, he's a fantastic babysitter. Just don't actually eat anything he makes. And as much as I'd love to say that Johnny Test is actually a universal busting warrior, he's just a guy. Mostly everything cool he does is thanks to his sister's inventions. He himself is not that strong in the slightest. That said, he could easily beat up anyone in the weak AF tier, so at least he's a normal dude. And the thing with Flapjack is, he simply just would not hurt anyone at all. If anything, he'd try hurting himself in the fight. He's simply just too pure-hearted. However, if we're going strictly on power, he's not even that strong either. Look at those little arms. He ain't hurting anyone with those. I'll give him some points for living in a whale and being taught by Captain Knuckles, but bro still ain't him. Don't worry, Flapjack. One day you'll find Candy Island. As far as Finn from Adventure Time is concerned, he's pretty up there. He's constantly shown fighting demons and monsters far larger in size than him, and he never backs down. Not to mention his variety of swords he can use at any time. I mean, he helped defeat Gold for crying out loud. I know that was a team effort, but still. We even got to see Time Skip Finn from Fiona and Cake, who is looking swole as all heck. So he clearly knows a thing or two about combat. Now, I'm not blaming anyone for thinking that Mordecai and Rigby are just normal everyday slackers. They're not that strong, they're lazy, they don't really do that much. However, we cannot forget that they both know the secret art of death punchies. Utilizing this forbidden technique, they can deal massive amounts of damage while at the same time blocking nearly any attack. Not to mention all the wacky hijinks they somehow survive. I think they may be Continental Crushers. And now we have Uncle Grandpa. There's no sugarcoating it. This man solos every other character on this list combined. This man has mind-shattering techniques that could blow away any other opponent. He can configure and contort any part of his body to match his needs, and is overall unkillable. Not only does he have his own pocket dimension, but he can also travel to any other dimension as shown in the Steven Universe special. And if one Uncle Grandpa isn't enough, he can just make another. He's seen his creator. And let's not forget that he is canonically everyone's grandpa and uncle at the same time, giving him authority over pretty much everyone in existence. This man is God incarnate and cannot be topped by anyone. In the wise words of Dwayne Johnson, if Uncle Grandpa speaks, I listen. Steven Universe has a multitude of abilities to get the job done. The main one being his bubble/shield, which can defend against pretty much anything. It can even defend against the Diamonds, who can destroy entire continents if they wanted to. Also, we can't forget to mention Steven's healing abilities. All you gotta do is just spit on someone and boom, max HP. You should try that at home, kids. Not to mention he can dodge lasers at light speed. And in his pink form, he can go so fast that everything else is in slow motion. Also, while he was in his Kaiju state, he was able to overpower all 3 diamonds. I was considering putting him to Planet Buster. However, the only thing planet busting he's done is defeat the cluster, and even then he didn't really defeat it, he more so pacified it. And I'm pretty sure the diamonds cannot destroy entire planets by themselves. So I'll put him in top of Continental. And I don't think we really need to worry about Clarence all that much. Unless they make a gritty reboot set 10 years after the events of the original series, where Clarence is injected with Compound V and fights Homelander, I don't see him going past weak AF. The Mighty Magisword duo consists of 2 goofball adventurers who use magic swords. Whether they're good at their job is up in the air, but they at least have some experience using them. They could probably hold their own just a little bit. Gumball is one of those situations where, in reality, they're not that strong, they're just kind of a weak little cat thing, but it's been shown multiple times to survive fatal blows and contort their body in whatever way they want. I don't think his abilities are quite warranted to putting in superhuman tier, and he doesn't have any fighting experience whatever, so I'm just gonna put him in normal dude. I would say KO is more than okay. As far as basic abilities, he can shoot laser projectiles as well as punch punch really well, but on top of that, he's also been trained by the best heroes in the plaza. Not to mention his dark side TKO, which is way stronger than base KO. He eventually learned how to reconcile with him and use his powers on his own. Not to mention during a crossover, he's teamed up with the likes of Garnet and Ben 10, who are confirmed to be extremely powerful. And at the end of the series, we see Old Man KO, who seems to be pretty powerful, so I think it's safe to say that he's in the Continental Crusher tier. While the We Bare Bears trio might be pretty harmless on the outset, we can't forget that they're still bears. They could realistically maul any human to death, Ice Bear especially. Now we're on to Teen Titans Go Robin, who is like the original Robin, except stupider, smaller, weaker, and has baby hands. Not to mention a giant ego. His power level is very inconsistent in the show, as sometimes he's shown as weaker than the Teen Titans, other times he's shown stronger. I'd say he's around here. Apple and Onion are just Beta, Mordecai, and Rigby. The way they walk the walk, talk the talk, they got no sauce. Without any death punches or any other kind of technique, they're just normal dudes. Although I feel like Apple could take a few more hits than Onion. Mao Mao is a sword user who fights opponents on the daily. He's also got against some pretty big opponents, to mention surviving falls from very high up. I don't know how he would measure up to the other superhumans, but he has at the very least a lot of fighting experience. Also, just look up Mao Mao Sasuke. Isn't that the most adorable thing you've seen all day? Victor and Valentino are just kids. I mean, they do go on a whole bunch of wacky adventures solving mysteries and whatnot, but it's not like they themselves have any special powers or anything like that. Also, do you know they made a crossover villainous? Weird. But speaking of villainous, Black Cat is kind of a demon. I mean, he can shapeshift, teleport, conjure things out of nothing. He's got all the makings of Bill Scythe, but even more evil. And if that's not bad enough, one of his imposters is voiced by Markiplier.
Oh! Dimension, no!
Flog, get me my evil lotion for my evil awesome body.
We don't know the full scope of his powers, but I'm gonna put him in planet level for now. It might be a bit presumptuous for me, but I wouldn't be shocked if he had that kind of power within him. Tulip from Infinity Train, again, is just a normal person. They don't really have any special powers or fighting experience, they're just along for the ride. I will, however, give him some extra points for being able to survive the train in the first place, because at all intents and purposes, it's a pretty crazy train. The Over the Garden Wall duo goes in weak AF, because very similar situation to the Infinity Train guys. They're just normal, everyday guys that just got trapped in this mysterious place. It would not surprise me if Craig of the Creek became the future strongest champion of all time, smiting anyone who dares disrespect the Creek. But since that time skip hasn't happened yet, we have to look at Kid Craig. I mean, he's shown to be somewhat athletic and has a staff as a weapon, so that's neat. Otherwise, I don't see him beating up Ben 10 at this current point in time. I mean, he did beat the King of the Other Side, who's probably low complex galaxy level, but that's still up in the air. Ultra Instinct Bobby, on the other hand, is another situation entirely. And that is a lot of main characters from Cartoon Network shows power scaled. I know I left out some characters, but I just don't have enough information on them. If you guys like this kind of content or have some critiques / thoughts about my placings, then let me know down below. Otherwise, till next time, see ya!